दुनिया में लोग, और ये मैं आई विटनेस अकाउंट्स बता रहा हूं, न्यूयॉर्क जैसे शहर में डिपार्टमेंट स्टोर्स वैंडलाइज हो रहे थे। यूरोप के कई देशों में सड़कों के ऊपर शव पड़े हुए दिखाई देते। भारत में एक व्यक्ति भूखमरी के कारण नहीं गया, नॉट वन डेथ ड्यू टू स्टारवेशन in the worst pandemic the world had ever seen. And every state has confirmed this in writing to me. Not one person has died because of starvation. 80 crore people got twice the ration, which means trains ran continuously, which means logistic systems ran, which means our farmers produced. आखिर हम आत्मनिर्भर बने हमारे किसानों के अन्नदाता के सामर्थ्य के ऊपर, which means electricity was available round the clock. क्योंकि our trains are now running on electricity, 95%, almost 90-95%. If electricity companies ran, the coal mines ran. Keeping social distancing and all the COVID protocols,
right,
we converted COVID to an opportunity. तो जितनी आपदाएं आप लोग को दिखती हैं, उनको सबको ले आइए भारत में। भारत एक प्रकार से सीता मैया की तरह और अच्छी तरीके से उभर के, कोई अग्नि परीक्षा हो जाए, भारत इसमें विनर ही निकलेगा।
अग्नि परीक्षा हो जाए, भारत विनर निकलेगा. This is calls for a round of applause. But Piyush, I want to ask you, since you connecting previous challenges with how we dealt with it, how do you think we as a nation will deal with this challenge of deglobalization and how the trade order is being completely dismantled? And what do you think is the playbook going to be? How are you going to tackle this, including these penal tariffs on India imposed by the US?
I don't see any deglobalization. I see countries restructuring their trade routes and their trade partners, and I'm quite confident this year India will do more exports than we did last year.
And you already have mitigated, all factors put in place. BRICS becomes stronger?
Well, I think these are questions you should ask the Honorable Foreign Minister, but I can only talk about trade and commerce. India's exports in the current year will be more than they were last year.
Piyush ji, how do you describe the state of India's economy, particularly because someone called our economy a dead economy recently?
कौन से पिक्चर का गाना था, समझने वाले
समझ गए
और ना समझे? I think it's so sad. The whole world is looking up to India. The whole world recognizes us as the fastest growing large economy. We are contributing 16% to global growth. Our inflation is amongst the lowest in the world. Compared to other emerging market economies, our currency, our foreign exchange reserves, our stock markets, our macroeconomic fundamentals are the best. The world recognizes it. You said so yourself during your visit with me. The world wants to come and work in India. The world wants to work with these 1.4 billion young, dynamic, enterprising, aspirational Indians. They recognize the talent, the skill that young India has. So India's got a very bright future. I think parroting a negative narrative by the leader of the opposition is a matter of shame. I condemn him for that. And frankly, the nation will never forgive Mr. Rahul Gandhi for this kind of very, very demeaning comments about the great story that Bharat is demonstrating to the world.
You know, you recently concluded a very positive trade agreement, as they say, with the United Kingdom. With the EU, if we were to get into some specifics, because you said so close and yet so far. So, how do we speed up to get that yet so far, bridge the gap? और ये जो negativity लोग फैलाने की कोशिश करते हैं, dead economy type, हमारे ही देश में अगर parrot करें उसको, does this have an adverse impact overseas?
First of all, negotiations are done in the negotiating room, so we won't be discussing negotiations and negotiating strategy here. But I think any such statements like the one we referred to will automatically die if people like your channels, and you claim to be one of the highest viewed channels, right?
The highest viewed, the
India
best.
Today group.
The
If you stop showing this fake propaganda, and if you stop giving time to such negative stories or negative mindset that some people display, automatically this will be a dead issue. And as regards the foreign countries or other countries in the world, they go by facts and figures. They don't even recognize the gentleman you were saying is making these disparaging comments despite being the leader of the opposition in India. I think somehow he has made up his mind that all his life is going to remain in opposition.
Piyush, I want to turn the attention of our audience here and those who are tuning in currently to the broader vision with regard to our playbook for global trade. I think in the last 1 year, you must have maybe had conversations with 24 countries for global trade or more. So if I were to ask you by 2030, 2035 or 2047, what would be the shape of India's engagement with the global trading blocs, and how many free trade agreements would we have? Just one quick point. You have made it clear to us how the previous round of free trade agreements was with economies that were still developing and how you are now pursuing a developed strategy. Can you give us that overview?
Well, I think India today is much stronger, much more self-confident, much more respected. We have a decisive leader. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is amongst the tallest leaders in the world, most respected. We have today a country which produces the highest number of STEM graduates every year. We have a country which is already growing at 6.5% a year, which will only get better in the years to come. We will, of course, have trading arrangements with other nations with whom we have complementarity rather than doing trade agreements with countries done as was done by the UPA, which really didn't help Indian business as much as it should have. Whereas on the contrary, if you see our trade agreements, even business today and India today could not find fault with it, despite your best efforts. So UAE, Mauritius, Australia, the four-nation EFTA bloc, Switzerland, Norway, Liechtenstein, and Iceland, UK. We are in dialogue with many other countries, Oman, EU, US, Chile, Peru, many others, New Zealand, many others want to start engaging with India. So today the world recognizes the strengths of India, recognizes our demographic advantages, recognizes what 1.4 billion aspirational Indians bring to the table as demand, an aggregate demand that India has is a huge market. Why else do you think everybody is vying up to do trade or have better market access in India?